We had some trade rumors during the bye week for the Miami Dolphins. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. We know the Dolphins are 2-3. The deadline is November 5th. So could they look to make a deal to strengthen this roster? Well, the reason why I think it's possible is because although some Dolphins fans think the season is over, it is not one bit. Their next 6 games coming out of the bye are very, very manageable. And if they're able to stack some wins here, that trade deadline comes right in between or right around week 9 after the Bills game. I believe it is actually right after the Bills game. Cardinals game's the 27th of October, so the Bills game will probably be the final game before the trade deadline. And if Miami's able to go 2-1, 3-0, and they're sitting here and they're like, all right, we got some momentum. Tua's coming back. It's there for the taking, man. You can really make a run. So making a trade would not surprise me if they wanted to strengthen this roster for the final 7-8 games of the season and really try to make a push for the postseason and maybe even the division crown if they somehow beat the Buffalo Bills. Which is why you need to be subscribed, because we are dropping daily videos, sometimes 2 videos a day. And if a trade actually ever happened, whether Miami acquired someone or traded away someone, we will obviously drop it and make sure you're covered. So hit that sub button, join us today. All right, we'll talk about Trey Lance here because CBS Sports actually named quarterback Trey Lance as a trade target for the Miami Dolphins. And this one was very surprising, in my opinion. CBS Sports says that Tua Tagovailoa may return. Well, he is going to return, so I don't understand that one. But it feels irresponsible to trust he'll stay upright and or safe. Coach Mike McDaniel was with the San Francisco 49ers when the dynamic but unpolished Lance was drafted high. And although that is true, and we talked about this right after the Tua injury, how Lance could be a target for Miami, I am out on Trey Lance. I would not look to acquire him because I don't think he is an NFL quarterback at this point, and I don't think he ever will be again. Let's take a look at the 2 quarterbacks, by the way, because this is Trey Lance in the 3 preseason games as a member of the Dallas Cowboys versus Tyler Huntley's 2 real NFL games this year. And you might say, well, why are you showing me this? Because it looks clear to me that Trey Lance is the better player. Well, here's something that you have to take into account. Huntley is playing in real games that matter, that defenses prepare for, and have the starters playing the entire game. In the preseason, Trey Lance does not get prepared defenses, and he is playing against third stringers for most of the game, and still threw 5 interceptions, by the way. Yeah, including all 5 in one game. I just don't think Trey Lance is that good of a quarterback, and if you had to see him play against ones and teams that prepare for him defensively, it will not go well. I'm taking Tyler Huntley over Lance. Huntley has had more experience as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. We've mentioned it. He's now 4-7 as a starter, 3-6 in Baltimore, 1-1 in Miami. So I still think Huntley has a lot to offer. And if you were to just keep starting Huntley, and if Tua comes back and then gets hurt again, and you have to turn to Huntley again, there's obviously no added time that you have to have Huntley learn the offense. No, he's already been here for a long time now. He understands everything. So he'd be able to just come in and hit the ground running. I think it's very clear that Tyler Huntley is better than Trey Lance, and I would not go with Lance, even if it costed you a 7th-round pick. I'm still going to keep Tyler Huntley. But let me know if you think differently. Pick a quarterback for me down in the comment section. Which one would you rather have on the Dolphins roster and be the Dolphins' backup to Tua Tagovailoa? Type TH for Tyler Huntley, type TL for Trey Lance. All right, now I'm going to get into 2 trade targets for the Miami Dolphins that I think could be on the horizon for Miami rather than what CBS Sports thinks. And the first trade target I want to mention is an offensive lineman, Cody Whitehair, an offensive guard for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's also spent some time in Chicago over the past couple of seasons. And Whitehair has been interesting because he's actually played a decent amount in 2024 thus far. He's played 168 snaps, and his PFF numbers have not been great. He has been better in the pass game than the run game, but PFF has not been kind to the veteran. He has not allowed a sack, only 1 penalty, 8 pressures as well. But Cody Whitehair has been someone not graded as high as you would probably want if I told you that they ended up trading for someone. And I'll explain why he could be someone Miami trades for coming up in just a second. But we are sponsored by Game Time, the #1 way to get your tickets. And if you want to go see the Dolphins play in person or any other sporting event, comedy show, concert, Game Time is the way to get your tickets. And they have a great deal for all the real ones here at Dolphins Today. Game time picks is an awesome feature that they have that allows you to filter through the fluff and get only the great seats and the best deals available for you. They have the lowest price guaranteed. If you find a ticket on a different service in the same area, same section, same everything for a cheaper price, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. They also allow you to see your seat in the app before you buy with their panoramic views. I'm telling you, Game Time's the best, and it's how I buy my tickets. I might be going to a Mets playoff game soon. I'll be purchasing my tickets on Game Time. You can guarantee that. So get started with Game Time today. Download the app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. First purchase only. But once again, code CHATSPORTS when you download the app and create an account. Shout to Game Time. What time is it? It is game time. Well, I think Cody Whitehair could actually be available for trade if the Vegas Raiders deem that they like what they've seen from Jackson Powers-Johnson, the rookie from Oregon, who I also would have liked Miami to draft, by the way. He missed some time to start the year, but he has taken over that starting role for the Las Vegas Raiders and the interior offensive line. And I think you might be able to get Cody Whitehair, not for cheap, but yeah, pretty cheap. The idea that I came up with was like a 6th-round pick from Miami. I think it's very possible. And you might be asking yourself, well, if he's not that good and he's benched, why would it cost a 6th-round pick? Well, remember, a couple of years ago, the Dolphins actually traded an interior offensive lineman. I think it was Dan Feeney, if my names are correct here, to the Bears for a 6th-round pick. And I think Feeney is kind of in that same area as where Cody Whitehair is right now. So that's kind of where I'm basing my trade package for this here. And I think Whitehair is a decent option if you want some interior offensive line depth. The second trade target, we're sticking on the offensive line, man. It's the number one thing Miami needs. And we're going to go with Daniel Brunskill, the offensive lineman from Tennessee, who kind of looks like Austin Hooper. Very interesting if you really look about it. But interior offensive lineman for Tennessee. And there's a theme here, right? I think it's very clear that the Dolphins' biggest need is on the interior offensive line. Whether it be a center, probably not, because Aaron Burr's been pretty good. More or less guard. And I don't think any of these two guys that were mentioned in Brunskill and Whitehair would start over Eichenberg and Robert Jones. I don't think they would, but just in case one of them got hurt, they're better than the options you have on your bench. And Brunskill's actually had a pretty solid history in the National Football League, whether it be as a starter in San Francisco or as a versatility man in Tennessee last season. His PFF grades have been pretty dang consistent. 60s every single year. Pass blocking is fluctuated, but we've seen him have some really good years where he's been graded relatively high. Run blocking, also very consistent, always in the low 60s. So he's someone that you can really trust. And he's currently not getting snaps on this Tennessee Titans offensive line, and which makes him potentially available via trade. I think he's better than Lester Cotton, man. And he's probably better than Andrew Meyer as well, the UDFA out of UTEP. I think he would be your top guy if you needed to play on the interior offensive line. Both of these trades would likely cost you late day 3 picks, a 6th-round pick, a 7th-round pick, and it can't hurt you. It really can't. What would be the negative side of adding a veteran interior offensive lineman to this group? I don't think there is one. So to me, it's just all about which potential trade target would you rather prefer. So let me know. Pick a target. If you had to pick 2 guys out of the guys that I mentioned, because there's not many offensive linemen that are decent on the trade block, because if they're good, they're not being traded. So let me know which guy you'd like for depth. Type CW for Cody Whitehair. Type DB for Daniel Brunskill. I'll be honest, I'll probably go with Daniel Brunskill. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because like I said, if any moves do happen during the bye week or at the trade deadline, we will have you covered. So hit that sub button. Join us here because we drop daily videos, and don't miss a thing surrounding your Miami Dolphins.